Hello everybody, Lady Gator D here, and welcome back to Link's Awakening. In the previous video, we started off our adventure on Cold End Island, and today we're finding a new collectible, the Secret Sea Cell. As the text right here says, we're gonna get something really awesome if we collected all of these. But the weird thing about it is that we only need to collect a certain amount of them. You don't get anything special if you get every single one of them. But I will be showing all 26 of them, as well as all 12 of the heart pieces. In today's video, we're going to be going into the first dungeon of the game, but before we do that, we're going to try the fishing minigame. Now with this minigame, the controls are actually really simple. You use the D-pad and the A and B buttons to reel in the fish. There are 5 of them in the pond, I think. The smaller ones, you'll only get a 5 rupee reward for them, and it costs 10 rupees to play the game. So make sure you have plenty of rubies before you're coming in here, especially if you get the heart piece. The heart piece the fish you want to go get to get the heart piece is the big one on the far right. It's pretty tricky to get this one without attracting the attention of the smaller fish, so it's best to just try to get all of them. The big ones, you'll get 20 rubies for the big ones and 5 rubies for the smaller ones. Unlike most Zelda fans, I'm not actually that big of a fan of the fishing minigames in Zelda games. This is the only one that I can really. This is the only one that I'm actually pretty good at. I'm really terrible at the other ones. But I will say, the annoying thing about this minigame is the fact that the text repeats itself every single time you go try to get another fish, which is typically why I just try to get the big one on the far right. Which is typically why I try to get the one on the far right for before any of the other ones, so that the text doesn't repeat itself. Come on. Come on, fishy. As you could probably guess, you're gonna have to really mash the buttons to get the big ones, because if you're not careful, the fish will go away and you'll have to go through the entire thing all over again. With the smaller ones, you don't really have to mash the buttons. You could just like tap the buttons a couple times and you'll be able to get it. But the big ones, you really have to mash the buttons. The sad thing about that piece of dialogue is that you can't actually fish the sea. And as you see right there, you can burn the chickens! Try best not to attack those, I think they're supposed to be cats, I don't know exactly. If you try to attack the cats, they'll go after you, so don't do that. The first dungeon is this way. But these Octoroks, as usual, you want to be careful around them because they will shoot these projectile things at you. But with your super amazing shield, you can deflect them. Well, not exactly deflect them, but it just protects you from it. I actually don't really use the shield all that much in this game. Oh, and that reminds me. I'm kind of stubborn about which buttons, about which items I've equipped, because I always have my sword equipped. So I'm just going to let you guys know that right now. But now we're in the first dungeon of the game. Yay! You've got the compass! Now you can see where the chests and nightmare are hidden. This compass has a new feature. The tone will tell you if the key is in a room when you enter. This is a really cool feature. And I'm actually not entirely sure if this feature returned in any other Zelda games. I don't think so. Because this is the only Zelda game that I've ever played that actually has this feature, which makes me sad because it's a really cool feature. So yeah, the tone will play every time you go to the place, and you may have noticed that it referred to the bosses of the dungeon as nightmares. And I always really liked that because it just makes them sound really, really cool. And if this place looks familiar to my longtime viewers, this place was actually remade in the anniversary edition of The Legend of Zelda 4 Sword. In that game, there was a place called the Realm of Memories, and in it there were remakes of three. There were some areas that were remade. There are some stages based off previous games from this game, A Link to the Past, and the original Zelda game. This was one of the many areas that was remade for that area. And actually, come to think of it, I think that video is my most successful, is my most viewed Let's Play video, which is pretty cool. So, over here, there are some more things we could do. There's a couple of choo-choos right there, and avoid those waffle things. I know they're not waffles, but they always look like waffles to me. Waffles with scary demon faces. Now this puzzle right here, all you have to do is just move the block. It's pretty simple. And those enemies right there, you have to use a field attack to block it. There's actually an owl statue up there that you can barely see on screen, but the owl statue will tell you that your shield will protect you against those enemies. Well, actually, I'm not entirely sure if it's that owl statue particularly. It may be another one in the dungeon. Those owl statues, they give you a hint to add to some puzzles, but I already know where everything is, so I'm not going to be showing all of them. And we get the rock spather. This is one of my favorite items in the game. It's super amazing and epic and stuff. We can actually jump in a Zelda game, which is super amazing. Now these Goombas right here, you may have noticed that this game has a lot of references and cameos from other Nintendo games. We obviously saw the Chain Chomp, who's called Bow Wow in this game. There's the Chain Chomp, there are the Goombas. There's a lot of things like that in this game, which is a huge reason why this is one of my favorite Zelda games ever. And let me just point out that Cordy Gleeks, he loves the sound that Link makes when he falls down a hole, and it's really hilarious. You got a small key, you can open a locked door. Now those snake enemies, I think they're called mini Modorms. If you were sick of looking at those things from A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds, then guess what? They're in this game too, and I actually really like those enemies. Not in A Link to the Past. God, I hate those things. But yeah, also those turtle enemies, I don't know their names. If you haven't figured it out by now, the only way you can defeat them is to use your sword to knock them down a hole. Now the Stalfos, they'll typically try to jump at you. If they're coming towards you, make sure you're facing upward and have your sword out, because that's kind of the quickest way to defeat them. Now these enemies, these can get really irritating really fast. You have to use your sword attack on them. You have to attack them just so that they all match. And this stone beak will allow us to talk to the owl statues. Turn aside the spined ones with the field. Okay, so I was wrong. It was this statue that tells us that. Fun fact, in the original Link's Awakening, and also that reminds me, this version is actually, the Virtual Console version is actually the remade version that they made for the Game Boy Color. In the original version, which was in black and white, the owl statues were stone tablets on the walls, but for whatever reason they changed that for the remake. There's a lot of stuff in the remake that wasn't in the original game. I'm going to be going over them over the course of the game. Buzz Outsider! Now this is Modorm, the regular super evil version. If you fall down the hole, then you'll have to climb back out of it, and it'll take you to the staircase outside. And I defeated him! And with that, we're gonna end this video off here. So, next time on The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, we're gonna continue on our adventure. Swamp, a path opens into the blues.